Three.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lorina Q, your mystic medium, and I'm here today with Kimmie. Yay!
Hi.
Kimmie's back. We're doing a video together. Hopefully, we'll do this a little more often because I love having conversations with her. It's always fun and interesting, and we see things differently. So it's good uh, but we're also like-minded.
Yeah, we describe it differently, but it's like the same ending.
Yeah. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, I am Kimmie. I am what I consider myself to be like a healing medium, trained acupuncturist. Yeah, that's pretty much what I consider myself. Keep it
And
short.
she's doing a whole bunch of other fun things, but I don't know if this is the right place to.
Yeah, they're non-spiritual related. It's like reselling thrift,
Yeah,
flipping thrift stuff, but that's completely unrelated.
yeah, yeah. But she's loving it and has fun doing it.
Yes.
All right, and I'm Lorena Quigley. I'm a psychic medium, energy healer, teacher, and all around modern day mystic. Good way to describe myself, I guess. And today we're going to talk about, we both watched this video on Bashar. So we're going to talk about some of the things that he's talking about. And I did make a list. Did you make a list or you just,
No, I'm just gonna go off the cuff.
okay, okay. Well, I did just because I wanted to bring up some of this stuff. First of all, I think one of the biggest things that he's talking about, and a lot of people are talking about this, is open ET disclosure. And
Mhm.
not just disclosure, but an open, I wrote it down, how he put it, an open introduction,
Oh, okay.
like to the ETs, like here we are, we're introducing ourselves in a very open way. I thought that was really interesting because this is not just disclosure. This is like here, we're introducing ourselves. We're not just having, the government like disclose things one little piece at a time because of course, they know a lot more than they're saying to anybody. So, what do you think about that? Oh, and by the way, sorry, jumping in again. I ask you to talk and then I jump in.
No, no.
But that it's supposed to happen really soon, like 2026, 2027. I think right now he's saying 2027.
Yes.
That's almost like tomorrow. That's so
Yeah.
soon. That's crazy.
Actually, I think, I was telling Lorena offline that I haven't been the biggest fan of Bashar. Like, I'm like skeptical, but then obviously very open-minded in many things. But then, like, sometimes, I don't know, there's so many claims of people saying like they're doing certain things, and I just didn't know. But like, I know enough to know what he has said about things in the past that have come true. And so when I watched the video and I was like, that feels right. Like I've been feeling that it's coming sooner than they were saying before.
Mhm.
And I even told my brother-in-law and my sister when they were visiting, um, he was asking me about certain things and like he's open to it now and he's like a police officer, and he's like, I've been dying to ask you about this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I think it's going to happen and I think it's going to be kind of shocking for some people.
Oh yeah.
Some people for it's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Well, if a really strange looking ET shows up at your doorstep, it would be shocking. Like
Mhm.
I think no matter who it happened to, unless it's already happened and you're used to it,
Yeah.
right? That would be shocking. But yeah, that would be amazing, actually. But it was really going to rock some people's worlds, their whole foundation of what they believe. And I think part of the reason why we haven't had disclosure is the government wants to control that. I need to stop saying the government in this video, but I
Well,
think there's a control mechanism too, because the systems that are in place that control everything, they want it to appear that they are the greatest power. Like the US is the greatest power on earth right now. At least that's what is projected.
Hmm.
Not getting political or saying, but if there is a power that's greater than what we perceive, then that means that they've lost their power.
Right.
So there's a control, it's trying to control that. I'm quite sure of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been to their advantage
Oh, of
to,
course.
but I don't think they can halt it anymore. I think we're to the point of mass consciousness where they can't control the narrative. Like I don't know how you feel about that statement. I think there was an allowance of powers that be to kind of stay where they're at and run amok and do, because that was all the consciousness we had all wanted to be at. But now so much is shifting, so much is coming out, so much shadow that it's like now it's time.
Yeah. 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 It would be interesting. Well, I can't wait to see what happens.
Was part of was what Bashar was saying, was he saying that like we had to be at a certain level before, because they've always been assisting and helping?
He
That's
did
kind of what I
say,
took from it.
yeah, yes. And I think that's true. They've always been behind the scenes assisting with different levels, wherever we are at, and trying to help us kind of push us along.
Waiting
Um,
till we get to the point we're at now, right? Sort of
um,
the statement I thought is what he said.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly that, but that sounds right to me. Yeah. Um, yeah. And he did say it is in alignment with the Great Awakening. He used, because I wrote this down, the Great Awakening, ETs will openly introduce themselves to society in the next 2 years. So it is part of the Great Awakening. And it's kind of runs in alignment with Chris Bledsoe, which last time we did a video, we talked about Chris Bledsoe and
Hmm.
the lady, something about the lady showing up or
Yeah.
somehow that prophecy that something would happen. He said Easter. Well, Easter has just passed just recently. So nothing big really happened to, I don't know, to bring in some sort of an awareness, because he did talk about that. But that's changed to, he's changed that to, I think, October 8th. Someone actually put that in one of my comments. It's now
Yeah.
October 8th.
There was a lot of hype about Easter, and I think because of the overlap with, the resurrection of Jesus, and like ideally everybody wanted that, but I don't think it was. Did he ever say it was going to be Easter, or did he?
They were looking at the configuration
Okay.
of Regulus, where this, and the Sphinx,
Okay.
where it aligned up. But I think they refigured it out, and it's,
Oh,
yeah, October 8th, because there is an actual astrological alignment or astronomical alignment that happens with Regulus to the Sphinx.
did it happen on Easter or no?
That alignment, I don't know. I haven't
No.
investigated that.
I meant
That's
to
a
look
good
it up and I
question.
forgot.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. I didn't look it up, but that was somebody else's influence coming in and saying it's this, like looking it up. Um, so who knows? But we'll see, because that's this year, which
Mhm.
could be the 2026, 2027. Those, it's all, there's a similar thing, idea, prophecy, or not, maybe not prophet. Well, Chris Bledsoe says it's a prophecy, whereas Bashar or Daryl Anka is saying that's what Bashar is saying. So, well, I wouldn't call that a prophecy, a prediction, I guess,
Yeah.
a maybe.
Yeah.
But they're on their time and we're on ours, so I hope it. I really hope it happens. Um, and he also said something about there at some point there will be an interstellar alignment, um, that Earth will join that. So, I mean, I'm not sorry, alliance, interstellar alliance, sort of like the Galactic Federation, or all of those things that we've been talking about since like the late '80s, since people were channeling a lot, the Galactic Federation, all that. That Earth will join some sort of something like that because we will be moving towards that galactic alliance where we are part of the space traveling group, which would be nice too. That would, yeah. Now that would be a huge movement towards something different on Earth. That
And it makes
would
you
be
wonder,
nice.
so is government, I'm using my fingers, now going to be like more galactic
Uh-huh.
uh,
Uh-huh.
versus like nationalistic, like on Earth? This is such a
Yeah.
funny conversation. It's like, oh, it just made me think, like, is our government now going to be like planetary,
Well,
interplanetary?
and I think that there is movement towards that happening without getting political um, or conspiracy theorists. But I think that there is movement towards being a one planet with these, subgroups
Hmm.
of government um, aligning. It's just like a Star Wars movie. Come
Yeah.
on. This is very Star Trek.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
funny when I heard these words coming out of my mouth. I mean, I literally flashed back. My dad used to really like Star Wars, and it just made me like, the Star Wars, not Star Wars, Star Trek. And it
Uh-huh.
made me think of Star Wars, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh my gosh, that was like fantasy, and like here we
Uh-huh.
are.
And we're moving towards that. Yeah, it's really interesting. And oh, and one other thing that he said was that Trump, when this open ET disclosure does happen, that Trump will not be president.
Yeah, he didn't.
Which is, he said that a couple times in this video. So, and he says he's not going to get into predictions or what he thinks is going to happen at that time, but that Trump is not going to be president.
Yeah, that
But
Bashar being the alien had informed him, like, yes, that it'll be during, I'm doing the air quote again, his tenure. Is it tenure?
mhm. uh,
But he won't be in the post.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And a lot of psychics are predicting that he's not going to make it through his whole term.
Hmm.
So that's just it's another we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
I think astrologically also that his chart does not look great for
Yeah.
him making it to the end of his term. So who knows what's going to happen? It's all speculation right now, but we'll
Right.
see what happens. It's
It was
very
interesting, as Bashar said, he prefaced it with saying, I'm trying not to be political with this
mhm.
statement. I'm just stating the facts. And I feel like we're doing the same thing. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Not attaching to anything, just this is what they're saying. And I haven't personally tried to see this like psychically. And part of the reason is there's just so much when you do psychic work or looking at like into the future, when you're looking at something that big, there's and just in general, there's so much noise, like psychic noise going on right now that it's hard to get through all the noise to get to hit the target of what you want to see because it's like a saying that they use in remote viewing that the signal and the noise, so you want to hit get on the signal that's
Mm-hmm.
accurate, but there's so much psychic noise
Mm-hmm.
and so many opinions and thoughts and energy in it that it's hard to actually find and get the information that you want. So I haven't really even tried to see that, to see what's happening.
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's just there's too much. There's because everyone's kind of crazy right now. So
Hmm.
I mean, it's just what's going on, and a lot like so many thoughts and so much fear. And the more fear there is, the more it's harder to get through the cloud of that energy of fear to see what's really going on. But that's kind of the purpose of fear and people generating fear. So it's harder to see. Um, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving past that, I just wanted to say that I haven't tried to see it, and I think it's interesting, and I think it's a real possibility. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, and I also wrote down here that the next 3 decades is, and we're in this from 2020 to 2050, that we are in a reset. So we're already well into this kind of 3 decade reset.
I
And
was
so,
just doing the math in my head, like
yeah,
how old would I be?
I'm not going to think about it. But 2020, 2030 is just around the corner.
Yeah.
2040. So it sounds like there's going to be some massive changes for society, for humanity, for Earth itself between now and going into 2050. Um, Really interesting time period to be alive. So I'm not sure how much of that I'll get to see, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Um, And also, I thought was interesting is the Earth is shifting into two realities. And then they got into the fifth dimension. They said, well, are we? A lot of people are talking about this third dimension, fifth dimension. And he said it's not dimensions because the fifth dimension is actually not physical at all.
Yeah, I saw that part when you mentioned.
Yeah, I
And there was
think,
like a banter about more of it looking or being a fourth dimension versus fifth
yeah. But and also he said that he was using the word density.
density. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of dimension, because that's actually more accurate than the actual dimensions. Um, yeah, he said it's two different things. So we're shifting into different densities and not dimensions, and it's more like the fourth density.
Did you hear his analogy of how he explained that? He said densities like, I think he said it's like in the same room. Like, you could be in the same room, but you don't
Uh-huh.
see each other, right? And then
Uh-huh.
he's described the dimension as being like a completely different place.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a good way of looking at it. Like, you could be in the same room with, say, like, use a ghost as an
Yeah,
example,
yeah,
but they're like at a different vibratory rate where you can't see each other.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's just a different frequency.
yeah.
Yeah. So how you maintain your frequency and move to embody that. And this is how I see it, is that you are embodying if you can embody a higher frequency, you can move in and out of those densities and have access to other information and places and things. And that's how we move through those. um, and you can have that and still be here
Mhm.
and fully in your body, but accessing those other like higher densities. I'm not going to call them dimensions right now, and I have to consider that myself. Like, what does that all mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we use those words a lot, but do we really know? Um,
What it means.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, and then what I thought was also interesting is that he talked about ascension. Now, people love saying that word ascension, and I'm having ascension symptoms, and we're ascending to 5D and blah. What do you have opinions about that? I think that ascension is very different than what we think it is.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought too deeply on that other than I just thought ascension is like a change in perspective
Um,
versus like he talked about, the Bible and no offense, but he's like how, you know, they talk a lot about being lifted off the earth and then some
yeah,
people, he's like, actually,
like the rapture.
that's a really good description of ascension. Like they
Mhm,
got the concept right. You wouldn't see each other because of the different vibratory rates,
mhm,
or
mhm.
the different places that each perspective would be at based on where each person's consciousness would be. I guess that's how I kind of see it too. I
Yeah,
mean, does that mean you physically disappear? I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I don't know either. Um, That's like getting back to some of the masters of the East. And we were talking about this the other day. Some of the masters of the East who actually know how to leave the body, but your body's still very, very physical and be somewhere else,
Hmm.
fully physical somewhere
Wow.
else. and having that ability. So they're running around between dimensions or densities, being able to do that. So maybe they've already ascended.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. It's really interesting. I think about it a lot because it was such a big thing that people, like in the 80s, a lot of channeling talked a lot about ascension.
Oh, really?
And oh yeah, if you were in a channeling session, if you did any channeling or went to channelings, people were talking about ascension. It was huge. This is in the late 80s. Um, and I think it has to do with just becoming more enlightened and then understanding what you can do, what your abilities are, sort of like the siddhis, like you start getting those siddhis
Hmm.
and you can do all these things like have telepathy, levitate, move into different densities, have more control. And so maybe at some point there is a split from 3D to 5D. Well, he actually says you're actually meeting in the middle at 4D. And I have heard that before, that you have
Yeah.
to actually pass through 4D before you can
Yeah.
get to 5D. And 4D, those are the astral planes.
Right.
And those are the places where thoughts become things like instantaneously. and, and if you're an astral projector, you know that.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you were talking about Jürgen Ziwe, or however you say his name, and him talking about this sort of thing. Do you want, because we were talking about it a little earlier, do you want to say anything about that? Because I think that speaks to this kind of thing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, no, he mentions a lot. He's that out of body experiencer through transcendental meditation from a long time ago. But I think in the last few years, I was telling Lorena, he came out with a video sort of giving you a visual of what it looks like on the astral plane. I guess would it be a mental realm? I'm assuming where people, their spirits move from ideology to ideology or belief to belief. And some of the thought forms he kind of like, I mean, they're a little amorphous, like they're just like like nebulous little clouds or structures, and he shows all the people kind of attached to it and then making it bigger, and then they get bored or they learn what they need from it, and then they move to different ones, and they're bouncing around constantly, where he's leading you through this meditation or this talk because he's got a really soft quiet voice, where eventually the souls are like not attaching to as many beliefs. It's getting less and less until they're okay with the no thing. And we are, the
Yeah.
nothing. And I was telling Lorena, I was working with a client that was really deeply into the Course in Miracles. And, I'd read it to her because she had vision problems. And I said to her, well, I think what he's saying is eventually you can ascend, or I don't know what you would get out of it when you're comfortable with not attaching to a belief at
Mhm,
all.
mhm. Yeah.
And the uncomfortable part is she says, then what is there? Like, what if there's nothing? Like, it really upset her because she was close to dying. And I was like, oh, maybe we're not supposed to be talking about this. But because I mean, it makes all of us upset. Like, what does that
Uh-huh.
mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, and we want to know.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
that stuff's all in the astral, right? Like all of those
Yeah.
beliefs and thought forms and
Yeah.
egregores and
Yeah. Well, if you study the Seth material, what he says is that when you do pass, your predominant thoughts or belief systems is actually the place where you end up, and it plays out.
hmm.
So, like if you're a Mormon, you go to Mormon heaven, or you go
Yeah.
to where all those Mormons are hanging out who all believe in the same thing, until it starts like kind of losing, like you said, they start losing their interest and going, wait, I think there's more here. I'm going to go explore that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is a book from, I forgot the guy's name. It is a Swami, and he talks about the astral plane, and he takes you on a journey through the astral planes and all the different levels where everyone's hanging out and what they look like. So, but then getting back to this stuff, like when we do become much more acquainted with the fourth density, or I don't know, the astral plane,
Hmm.
um, and you do learn to control your thoughts and your reality, um, is that your movement towards the awakening or ascending? You know, I think these are all really good questions.
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
I know
yeah,
because I mean, there's a lot from what I hear, like what I've read about like shamans and stuff. They have to like clear so much of those astral realms, especially the ones that are close to the earth. Because if they're
yeah,
like, say, like bothering, there's something in the subconscious, like, or the astral realm making somebody ill. It's
yeah.
because their land has an old or the person's family, like the family consciousness, like going into the astral and like clearing it.
Mhm.
Like, so if we're moving into all that and we haven't properly been caring for the fourth dimension, because that's what they talk about, a lot of these old shamanic practices is like the reason we have like issues like mentally, psychiatrically,
Mhm.
illness could be from a unclean astral realm that's causing you the problems.
Yeah. And some of it is just, I think, could be family stuff. It could
Yeah.
be land stuff.
Yeah.
It could be just stuff that you've created through lifetimes that you're still dealing with some mess, which, we probably are dealing with some of that stuff. But
So do
yeah,
do the aliens come through? Like, this is like I'm getting all technical. So
yeah,
like, do they have to move through the 4D to get here? Like, because they're all like in a different
yeah.
realm.
Where do they come? Well, I think that that's where, because of their energetic structure, they can just come straight here. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just making that assumption.
Okay.
But that makes sense. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, they're better at projecting their mind and what they know and have much more knowledge and information than we do. So they can just like show up where they want to, where be, our minds are not trained to be that focused. And I don't think, and most people don't have an understanding of how they create their own reality through their thoughts and are living in a projection of those thoughts. And at the beginning of that video, he talks about, are we in a simulation?
Yeah.
And he said yes, but it's one that we created ourselves and agreed to come through. So yes, there is a projection. We project our reality, and it's also, uh, so I know you, you know me, we're friends. So there's an agreement to know each other and have this connection.
Hmm.
And so we're sharing it. So there's a shared connection too of creation of creating that reality and projecting it out and living this. So I think that we are living in a simulation, but it's not quite as simplistic as what people think,
Yeah.
um, or as kind of manipulated through some dark forces keeping us here on Earth in a prison
That
planet.
seems to be the direction a lot of people want to go,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
or talk about.
Mhm. Yeah.
How do you think for you, like how, I mean, what is your best guess? This is like we have about 10 minutes left, 9 minutes
Okay.
left. What is your best guess on how this is going to look like as it rolls out or is introduced? I have an idea. I mean, I've heard it from other people. It's kind of like
Uh-huh.
I've heard, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I'll
Yeah.
see what you think.
My best guess, well, first of all, I think that the powers that be are going to try and fight this as long as possible. So,
Mm.
so there's going to be a lot of overshadowing of like, oh no, you didn't really see that. You didn't get
Mhm.
really get pictures of that uh, uh, ET ship flying
Yeah,
over. Um, at some point, I think that particular battle is just, the governments will have to just kind of go, okay, well, we'll make the best of this because they're showing up, and
right.
that's yeah. I don't know. I haven't really given it that much thought. I'm just hoping that it happens soon and kind of some big shifts are made through that. How do you see it, or what's?
Um, well, I think maybe, I mean, we're talking a little conspiracy theory here, but like I think maybe that's why they rolled out AI because you know how fast AI has come out because
Yeah.
of the overlap of then they're like, oh no, those videos are AI, like it's not real. They
Oh,
can
okay.
discredit a lot on that.
Hmm.
There's a lot of theories that like a lot of the controllers right now and loosely whatever that is to you
Yeah.
kind of know the end game that they know the end game of like us getting full disclosure and they've been trying to shift it
Hmm.
like you've heard that like I
Yeah.
mean that's a possibility and that's why they're so adamant about using CERN because they're trying to shift the timeline where this doesn't happen all this stuff is
Oh,
happening
oh, that's interesting.
like I believe personally that it's true that they're going to start like there's a kindness I think about it so like even for like you and I, it would still
Hmm.
be, could you imagine if they like had a ship and it opened up and then like the people that came out were like so physically different than us? That might
Hmm.
be intense. So I think they're gonna like introduce ones that look very similar to us, that
I,
actually might even be indiscernible to us.
yeah, I
Like they say
agree.
the Pleiadians look like us.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
And
better
then
looking.
Yeah,
Just
much better looking. That's supposedly very true. And then eventually it's gonna like start, and then
uh-huh.
I guess their job is to start to talk about the true history of humanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's at a big opposition to what, we've been taught on many levels.
Hmm.
And so that, a lot of people can unwind their programming about the myths and the books and,
Yeah. Yeah.
the his
Absolutely.
story, like a his story, or
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
we got to get both sides, her story, and
Yeah. And
then we
also
get
that it's been rewritten so many times for
yeah.
the victors, as we know, the people
And
who won.
it's
Yeah.
what I believe is kind of sad right now. There is a huge movement, and I don't know about you. I've noticed this with people in my life, like because things are so intense right now. There's like a polarization to return to religion, which
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
And so a lot of people are totally glomming on to this because of fear. And
Mhm.
I feel bad because I think when things start to happen, it's going to be hard for some people.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it will be. Yeah. Yeah. But, people they want to feel safe and grounded and structured. So they're returning to what they've known or some sort of conforming to some religious structure that feels safe and strong.
It's like a last grasp. It's like, oh, maybe it is end times. Like, and I want to get right with God,
Oh,
like, and
yeah,
however that is to you, it's like, that's fine.
yeah,
But like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
letting go of all the beliefs.
yeah, yeah. And it's scary to let go of all your beliefs. And yeah, we talked about that. It's like, no, I need to believe in something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like being on the roller coaster ride and hanging on because this is like we're going down. Woo.
It's like, if Armageddon's coming, I want to make sure. I want
Yeah,
to the rapture or whatever. I want to make
yeah,
sure I'm right, like on the
yeah,
right side.
yeah,
Like, oh Lord,
yeah, yeah,
that's funny. Oh
yeah.
Lord, but anyhow, that's
It's
my theory that that's
yeah,
how it's going to roll out. But he
yeah,
did say, Lorena, we have about 4 minutes left. Lorena and I was telling Lorena, he did say that like some nations are going to fight it, and
yeah,
my comment to her was like, how could you fight this? Like, what are
yeah.
they going to do to slow down? For some places that do not want their
Yeah,
residents or their
yeah,
citizens to
yeah.
know.
How do you slow down that influence? Because
Right.
we have the internet and cell phones, and people film like crazy. So, yeah, I don't know how they would do that, but it's like trying to just the narrative trying to control things, and I'm sure we're gonna see that come out somehow. But I don't know how you would do that because once the cat's out of the bag, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He said the ones that have the biggest amount of theology wrapped up in opposition to it. And so I was like, who would that be? You know, we
I
were
don't
talking
know.
about
You
that.
know what? Portugal came to mind, but I don't know.
Portugal?
Yeah.
That's so funny. I don't really know
That's
anything about Portugal.
that just popped into my head. It's very religious, and
Oh.
there. I think it's one of the, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll take it back. But they're very slow moving forward because
Uh-huh.
it's such a kind of old fashioned religious country. But that's just what popped into my head. That was a spontaneous thought. So I don't
Oh,
know.
that's funny. I was thinking Middle East, like the Middle East.
Oh
But
yeah,
I mean, for all I know, it could be America. Western
yeah,
society. I don't know because we're all in our
yeah,
heads so much. But
yeah, yeah.
you know,
It's true.
except for Sedona, Sedona and
Except,
Joshua Tree, yeah, they'd be fine,
yes. Well, we can all go move to Sedona.
right?
Yeah. Anyway, this is a fun conversation.
Yeah,
So we'll get together hopefully soon and do another one.
yeah.
Yeah. Are we wrapping it up? I
It
think we're
is. We should
wrapping
wrap
it
it
up.
up so we just don't get
Okay.
cut off.
All right. All right. Well, that was a really fun conversation. Thanks, Kimmie,
Yeah,
for
thank you.
sharing your time. And anyway, have a great day, everybody, and let us know what your thoughts are about all of this. Can't wait to hear what you guys think or feel about this
Yeah,
'cause it's a really interesting time period. Very interesting. Yeah.
and they say you signed up to be here for all this. And
Yeah.
like we welcome your speculations too. We're just speculating on a lot. So comment and share
Yeah.
your
Yes, please
outlook.
do. All
Right.
right. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.